Hello and welcome to today's content of analyzing and watching a few different Guild War composition builds. So I'll be showing off two matches today, and we'll talk about them and how they function or would work theoretically. Some of them will be wins, some of them might be losses. So for this video specifically, I will not be doing any slowdowns or going into very small details on the matches. However, I will talk about the teams and the units and their builds. It's mostly to showcase my guild's team compositions and just to show that how they function on this map in particular. For privacy's sake, however, I will be omitting the identity of the people who are in the battle, so please bear with me in case you're curious on who this is exactly. I will not be revealing that. For the first match, the attacking team is using Ildrea, Agrius, and Kayn. From here we can see that Ildrea is using the Plat Robe to help with her defense and the missile damage resistance. This coupled with Lucia's TMR gives her a good amount of agility. Since she's using Diabolos, however, that means she'll be a bit slower in general, but with the Lucia's TMR on, it will help balance out the agility stat a little bit. Since she is using Diabolos, however, this means she has access to a lot of magic stat and or slash resistance, so it'll be a good damage or slash mitigation for her on this map. Since she's using the Xmas Vision card, this also means that her team will gain AoE resistance and she gains a good amount of magic stat for herself as well as Holy Knight's Purge. So moving on to Agrius, we can see that there is a Lazalia sword, which means Agrius is ready to deal some damage with it. And with the shoulder pads, it'll help add missile resistance and bells, so that not only will Agrius be able to spam her abilities, it'll give her a nice burst of agility as well from that bells. With the Demon Wall Esper, however, the Esper has the diversity of slash resistance, dark, and light resistance, mixing two of those three together in general. The Esper is not fast though, it's a bit on the slow side, but Agrius with bells will help bring her agility up, so it's not too much of a concern. And since she is using the Odin Vision card, this will help increase her personal damage, as well as bring up the single target resistance for her team. And since her Esper isn't really on the offensive side, using the Odin card with the bells here and the sword will give her enough damage while still maintaining a bit of a defensive stance with the Demon Wall Esper. So lastly is Kayn. You can see here that the Kayn has the Alexander Ring, which will give more accuracy and elemental resistance, which probably is more used on this map for elemental resistance since the map favors accuracy already. The Glacia TMR allows for a decent AP boost since the bells is on Agrius already. So Kayn coupled with the Odin Esper will help boost that amount of agility since he doesn't have bells, which is good. Odin Esper also being used, it gives many different benefits depending on how you want to build it. Most people go with the Human Killer, and then on this match in particular you can choose between the slash and missile resistance, or maybe you even want to go slash damage, like maybe you want to use his Paladin subdraw. You could do that too. However, with the Demon Wall Vision card here, it will help immensely boost Kayn's damage while providing the team with slash resistance and pierce damage, but pierce damage only applying to Kayn since the other two do not have that attack option. Onto the defense team, we can see it's Agrius, Halloween Leela, and Kayn. To begin with, we have Agrius without a weapon but with Ribbon to stop herself from getting stopped or slowed. The shoulder pad also deters missile resistance and bells to spam abilities and have agility. However, since there is no weapon, her damage will be lacking significantly compared to the attacking team, but she might be there to specifically tank and apply status ailments instead of doing damage. It's definitely a viable build. With the Golem Esper, as we can see, it is a very slow Esper, but allows for a lot of defense or pierce resistance, two benefits that can help take damage from pierce damage attackers or physical attackers in general. So this coupled with the bells will help offset the agility a little bit, but it definitely will be on the slower side. However, with the Fenrir Vision card, Agrius will also get a little bit more agility from the Vision card itself to help further offset Golem's slow speed. So that will help her in the speed department by using Golem, as well as giving her team magic resistance. Next, we move on to Leela. She has the Plat Robe on to help with missile resistance and defense, and her own TMR on for either the magic and accuracy buff and or for the raw stats to give herself some more agility. With the Diabolos Esper on, she has access to more magic damage and or slash resistance, and since Diabolos is a little bit slower as we talked about earlier, the TMR will help offset the slower agility by a little bit. Since the Xmas Vision card is also being used here, the same thing as Ildria, it will help boost her team's AoE resistance as well as allowing herself to gain a lot of magic damage potential from it and Holy Knight's perk. Lastly is Kayn, who has only two differences in the setups from their equipment and espers. There is no Alexander ring. They are using the Hermes sandals, which gives up to 6 agility. I guess it's probably for speed tuning. It depends on what the defending team was trying to aim for, but that's usually what Hermes sandals are used for. But also since the Kayn is using Demon Wall Esper instead of like Odin or something, the defensive Kayn build here will lose out on damage and agility, but gain more survivability to slash and dark resistance. So let's move on to the battle and see what happens. So here we are at the beginning of the video. So let's see what happens. Holy Lila moves up, Revitalize is used again, Ildria LBs. Unfortunately only gets Agrius with the LB, so that means Kayn is going to be a little bit slower to get to the front, but Agrius getting in there first. If there's a Taunting Blade, there you go. That means the hate is now on. Since there's no Val card being used, that means it's definitely going to be useful for her to have that up there. The other Agrius still has not used Taunting Blade, so that means this Agrius will have the advantage in terms of hate. So we see Arioga. What's gonna happen? Taunting Judgment actually. Ooh, the damage distribution. Judgment Blade only 672 damage. As we said earlier, that Agrius does not have a weapon. It's gonna hit way significantly less. Still has Taunting Blade on, so has the aggro. Candace and Hugh. Oh, no confuse, only one confuse. That's actually very fortunate. Ooh. Oh, the damage distribution canceled the confusion, which is really good. Ildria survived from the Piercing Lance because of the AoE resistance. Taunting Blade finally went off, but it's a little too late now since Halloween Lila's already dead. And Kayn goes down, and this should be an easy cleanup. It'll take probably a little bit long because this is like a full tank build Agrius, but she'll definitely go down. There's no way she's winning 1v3. But yeah, as we saw earlier, the Agrius on the defensive side just did not do damage at all, did not get any status elements out, so the build unfortunately failed here, as we saw, but it definitely had a chance. I think the other Agrius, since getting the Ildria Limit Burst speed up, definitely helped turn the favor in their side because of the early Taunting Blade, as well as being able to dish out damage to the Halloween Lila. Halloween Lila had the, looks like Shikuchi on because there's no way she's going to be running that far in unless she has no other abilities or she just wanted to get chip damage in. It might be better to maybe use like Protect or like something to like hold her back a little bit longer. But yeah, as we can see, the attacking team here won pretty significantly well, and that's kudos to them. So on to match 2. So this, the attacking team is using Ildria, Dwayne, and Kayn. From here, we can see Ildria has the Soul of Phasma instead this time, and this will increase her magic damage and her magic resistance, along with the Halloween Ryu's TMR for the zombie re-raise. So she'll be a glass cannon to any physical hits here, but the re-raise will give her a second wind or like a second chance in case she does get down. Diabolos being the Esper used here, that means her agility will be slightly lower, but she has access to either more magic damage and or slash resist. So it looks like this looks like a glass cannon Ildria build. As long as she has the Halloween TMR though, she does get a second chance at living. With the Xmas Vision card, as we said last time, this will be able to provide her team with AoE resistance as well as a good damage boost for herself, so it looks like that type of build. On to Dwayne, we can see that the Lazalia sword is being used here for the extra bit of accuracy and the raw damage. Dwayne unfortunately has low accuracy on this map specifically. If he's specifically hitting an evasion comp, even on this map, he has a worse chance of hitting them than normal, instead of having a better chance in general because he has low accuracy. So that sword being used for extra accuracy will guarantee 100% on this map unless they are evasion builds. So as we can see here, the shoulder pads are being used because he has actually negative missile resistance without any passives or other types of help. And the bells not only speed him up, but will allow him to shoot out abilities constantly, just like Agrius. So with the Demon Wall Esper here, he will be slower, but the bells will help offset that, as well as help maintaining the defensive resistances that Demon Wall provides. This means that he won't be doing as much damage if he was using an offensive Esper, but that's alright. Lastly, however, is the Dwayne Vision card, which gives the team attack percent and magic resistance, while providing Dwayne himself with very good damage bonuses. This is probably one of the best mixes of defenses and offense bonuses, because the defensive options of Demon Wall and then the offense options with the Dwayne Vision card. So this looks like it's a pretty balanced loadout so far. So lastly is Kane. So we can see the shoulder pad is also being used to help against the missile resistance, along with Oldoa's apron for the defense penetration and small AP generation, because the bells is gonna be on Dwayne. So with the Odin Esper, however, this allows Kane to get more agility while still be able to choose from like human killer, slash, or missile resistance, any of those. So this looks like it'll help keep his agility competitive. And with Demon Wall Vision card as well, this allows Kane to deal massive damage because he's also getting the attack percent from the Dwayne Vision card, as well as granting his team both the pierce attack up and the slash resistance. And since Dwayne has access to the Dragoon subjob, he could benefit from the Demon Wall Vision card as well. So onto the defense team, we can see is Ruin Stern, Halloween Leela, and Engelbert, who we've not seen for a long time. Anyways, to begin with, we have Ruin Stern. We can see the Armor of Light is being used here to mitigate any type of magic type attack damage, along with the Halloween Ryu's TMR for zombie re-raise. While this might be a little concerning for AP generation, specifically for Ruin Stern, the second wind from the zombie re-raise will be definitely useful, or like might change the tide of battle. But this is definitely something to think of the AP generation. And since the Odin Esper is being used here, that means Stern will be able to make use of the high agility and get either the resistances or damage nodes that Odin has. Lastly, it's the Odin Vision card, which means it will personally give Stern a good amount of damage boost while providing his team with single target resistance. Next, we move on to Leela. This is exactly the same setup as the last match, but I mean, I'll repeat myself anyways just for the information. She has the Plat Robe on to help with her missile resistance and defense, her own TMR on for either the magic and accuracy buff or the raw stats to give some agility. Diabolos Esper is on, so she has access to more magic damage and or slash resistance if she wants. Diabolos is a little bit slower, it is not Shiva, but the TMR does give a little bit more agility bonus to help offset the slowness. The Xmas Vision card is also being used here, so it helps her team with the AoE resistance, as well as give her the Holy Knight's Purge and more damage to herself, like to deal more magic damage. Lastly, but not least, is Engelbert. Not a familiar face here, I'll be honest, but does make sense against like the physical hard hitters because of his resistances. However, he has really poor resistance, especially in this setup. I'm really worried about his survivability if he gets hit by Ildria. However, he will definitely be effective against Dwayne and Kane on taking damage. Anyways, Engel is shown here with the golden armor to help mitigate against slash, as well as give a max of 18 defense for physical mitigation. The Ayaka TMR boots will also help boost his agility and a little bit of spirit, but no bells is a bit concerning here because Engel is slow. He also struggles to keep hate outside of Vow of Love. He has to get a taunting blade off, but if he doesn't get it off because he has no AP generation or turn priority, it'll be a little bit rough if he gets overrun. Nonetheless, the Esper here of choice looks like to be Golem, who is extremely slow, which does not help Engel's situation already on being like a turtle. But this does allow for a possible 72 defense build, which is 72% damage reduced from physical attacks before any penetration, etc. So it is definitely viable, but I feel like he will die maybe in 1 or 2 hits from magic, like very easily. So if the Esper is using the max defense, as we said from the panels, he can get up to 72 defense, but he still can get a good amount of pierce resistance as well. Since no bells is being used here, we can see that the Vision card Vow of Love is being used to help Engel's hate issues, as we discussed before, at least for like a few turns. It would be 3 total turn orders before he has a chance to get Taunting Blade out, or else he has no hate. So yeah, let's see how the match goes. Before I start the clip, I just have to say this was recorded by a guildie that has a very large screen, so it's a bit hard to convert this, but I hope this looks alright on everyone else's screen. But here we go. So here we have Halloween Leela. Looks like she's probably casting Protect. Raise went off. Immortal Spirits.
Revitalize, and then Ildria, if she LBs both of them here, yes, she did. That means they have a good turn order together. Saintly Wall is being used. Apron is on for the defense penetration, which will be very good here. Dead Scythe is here to hit the barrier twice. Ooh, that's a lot of damage from Arioga. We'll get healed up though. Uses Hein, because it looks like the height difference right here. Yeah, it doesn't. Ooh, they lined up for Dragon's Bane. None of them die? Now they die. I think Angle only took 1000 from there as the last hit of his barrier, but that was also a solid amount of mitigation. Guts procced here. Heal goes off. Hits Mighty Break onto King. King dies. Dwayne, however, moves back and jumps. So he did go to Dragoon sub, as we see here. Ildria is here. She hits Angle for 4.2 thousand. Somehow misses Rune Stern, even though he did not have illusion or anything on, but it does happen. So as we can see there, the Rune Stern did have a chance to use Hazard Crusher. Actually, no, he didn't, because he was on the stair tile too high. And as much as Hazard Crusher has a very good height range, its selection range is only 1, and then the AoE actual hit is 2. So if he did choose the 1 there, it would hit his own team, so that's why he didn't use it and used Hien. But from here, as we saw, the Engelbert barely took any damage from the attacking side, even with the Eldora Apron. However, as we saw, Ildria's single magic attack did 4.2 thousand, and Engelbert just melted away right after. So this looked like a fair trade for the team, but definitely the Engelbert build, I would say, is good, because then it's conditional that if you do not have magic type damage or something to hit his spirit or magic, he definitely did a good job of tanking. The only problem is, I would say, and still argue, is that no AP generation there without Taunting Blade is pretty rough. And we have come to the end of the video, and I think the next Guild War video I'll be doing is probably picking 1 or 2 matches and going really in depth to explain like the more intricate details, such as like the AI, what they're doing, why this happened, or would this determine the win or loss. I think it's a bit too much to fit all at once in this video, so I'll probably be doing it in another video. Anyways, thanks for watching once again, and if you like this type of content that I'm doing, let me know in the comments, and then like and subscribe, and until next time, peace out.